right now we have our entity complete and we can add it to the engine. How do we do that? I think it's the game state we want. This call here is pretty much what we need. And once we add it to the game state, we have to release it. I'm not sure if we've been releasing things in the, for example, the voice entity. I want to check that right now. So those get created in Input Manager. No. It doesn't get created there, it must be created in the mic entity. Yeah, as I expected, we don't delete them here. We do make a copy, but we do release them. Yep, we do release them, so it's not a big deal. Just make the note here. We release our this and end input. Keep a ref so we can add buffers. Okay. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we don't want to release it here. Probably want to release it when the next time we fill something in, or when effect entity disappears. So let's put that in the DLOC first.
Be quiet, Gracie. Hey. Gracie.
Doesn't look like we have a DLOC call yet. And it is called DLOC. What are those called, boys? Something like this. And we also want to do this when we overwrite it. Probably not any time in between. So right here. Create a new one. Position on the edge of so. Yeah, sometimes it's good to type a little bit more, like write the actual result instead of having your comment be have the exact same words as the class names and function names. Okay, so this doesn't happen yet because this isn't in collide. Now it's collide's job here create and add the output entity to the game state. That's going to be spit. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. There's also some setup. So the variables we need are the mLast collision result. I think it's called result. Yep. And that's actually all we need. I'm going to go to the top and initialize the other variables. Note that we still have mout sound and mout entity. So we should actually set that to nil. Do we do anything with mout sound? Not really. Alright. So this should have a visual effect once we hit the wall. We can test that out. Anyway, it's a good point to try and build. We'll definitely not build. Yeah, you start off with include errors, and we will slowly work up into the more complicated ones. Expected a type. Snakeable entity 27. Filter sound. Create transfer sound. Okay, that's reasonable. Having said, filter sound should be included. Let me see. Wait a minute, this is the wrong class. Which file is it? Noise block H game state MM. Oh, we're talking about the H file. H file for snakeable entity. Yeah. Now that we have the sound, we can try and build and get the other errors. Alright, one error. Okay, so we need to include game state. I could have saved us that one. So build again. Building code drinking water. Undeclared identifier game state. So Xcode, why don't you automatically go to the most recent error list? I don't understand that. I wasn't issuing the other ones because you couldn't save the previous error lists. Cannot initialize a parameter of type filter entity with L value of type output entity. At least not without an explicit cast. That is in effect entity.mm. Still not helpful without the line number. 180. This file is getting a little big. So add entity, out entity. What's the deal? It says it doesn't like it. You know what, let me just think about that for a second. Doesn't like out entity. Out entity is output entity, which should be a filter entity. Let me check my assumption there. It's a normal physics entity. It probably should be a snakeable entity, no? No, my bad. I want to look at output entity. Yeah, it is a snakeable entity. So what's the issue again? Okay. We gotta eat some coffee beans. No, but we're not done yet. It's not coffee bean break time just yet.